Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session about data integrity in the pharmaceutical industry. This webinar is for anyone and everyone who works with data in our field, whether you're in quality, clinical trials, regulatory roles, or any other job where maintaining trustworthy and accurate data is crucial. Today, I want to give you a clear understanding of what data integrity really means for us in pharma, why is it so important, and how each one of us plays a role in ensuring it. For anyone who is not familiar with the concept of ensuring data integrity, it's pretty much like building a house. You would have a blueprint that tells you where each piece or where each block goes so that the house will be sturdy. If you lose some pieces, obviously, or if you mix them up, if you misplace them, the house might fall apart. It's the same thing in pharma. We need to make sure that each piece or each block of information in our data house is in the right place at the right time and used and placed by the right person so that our data will always be clear, will always be organized, and will always be complete. Multiple components are related to each other in ensuring data integrity. As we can see here, we have the life cycle of information that starts from the theory part, human medicines law, that gives us good manufacturing practices, good documentation practices. We use these guidelines to create our procedures and our processes, which are directly influenced by our behaviors. Actually, this is where things go wrong. Data integrity is fundamentally built on the actions of everyone within any organization, and it's not just about data entries or about records. It's about the commitment that each employee makes to uphold accuracy in each task they complete. Each time we review, we record, or we verify information, we are actively contributing in the integrity of our processes. The major problem here that I represented in the red color is that pharmaceutical companies often face pressure to improve their KPIs, their key performance indicators, especially during economic downturns. This can lead to manipulation of the data. Some companies reportedly falsifying their records to reduce batch rejection rates. They are deleting non-compliant entries. They are generating records without conducting the required tests to speed up regulatory approval. On the other hand, a major problem that we can notice nowadays is the insufficient support from senior management, whether to limited involvement, limited resources, that can make these issues worse. Employees may fear job loss if their KPIs are not met, which leads them to bypass protocols, to alter records if they have database access. Also, when systems rely on manual data transfers to the company databases, transcription errors can further compromise the data accuracy of the company. We can see here an example where a manager is pressuring their team to alter, to destroy, and to hide information. This creates a culture of fear, mistrust. Employee feels like they have no choice but to comply, as we can see here. Even if it means going against what they know is right, they feel pressure to break the rules, risking both their reputation and the company's trustworthiness. This can lead to inaccurate records, poor decision-making, and worse, potential harm to our patients. In our industry, unfortunately, bad management practices that encourage data manipulation can have serious consequences. When managers, like in this example, do not prioritize integrity, the whole system is put at risk, making it harder to ensure the safety and effectiveness of our products. In the face of pressures from upper management, it's essential for each one of us to prioritize integrity over any demands or fears about our positions. Upholding this DI, this data integrity, means sometimes making difficult decisions and when necessary, respectfully pulling back on a directive conflicts with our ethical standards. From a regulatory lens, data integrity is based on the fundamentals of high-quality data, or as we call it, the ALCOA principles. In the 1990s, the FDA actually developed this list of principles, which still serve as a framework for working with data and for documenting it. The ALCOA principles stand for attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate. Attributable actually means that each piece of data should be attributed to the person who generated it. This information should cover who created this piece and when was it created. This can be done with either physical signature or, as we use nowadays, an electronic one. To give you an example of this, in a lab, for example, a technician tests a sample and he needs to record the results in a logbook. The technician needs to sign and to date the entry to show who performed it and when it was completed. Legible is the second principle. It means that all data pieces are supposed to be easy to comprehend, are readable, and are coherent so that the data will constantly remain valuable, accurate to interpret, and safeguarded against any manipulation. A simple example that I can give you here is that, for example, if I am in a warehouse, there are inventory labels printed. They need to be clear, they are readable with readable fonts, and they are maintained so that I can easily identify any item and their storage location without confusion. Contemporaneous means that all data recordings should be made in real time. For example, if an event occurs and I need to document it, it needs to be done at the moment it happened to ensure that all findings and observations are accurate and they represent a real picture of events. For instance, in a manufacturing plant, for example, when a machine operator notices a defect during production, he needs to immediately log the problem, to immediately record the time and the date. This ensures accurate documentations of when the issue was detected. The fourth principle is original, which means that all data should be preserved in its original form, and copies should not be used as primary sources. If any piece of data is used after the documentation or after the creation, it's crucial for us to attribute it to the original source, protect data, especially in the long term. This is made to push companies, to push researchers and manufacturers to create conditions where it's possible to safely store data for longer periods. The last principle is accurate, which means that all data should always reflect real events and conditions and should always be complete. All data presented, recorded, stored should be error-free and should be complete. And at the moment of documentation, data should be recorded without any changes to prevent falsifications. To achieve this, I need to make sure that each piece of data is verified and only modified with authorized personnel that have the proper access. I created a selection of multiple real-world cases where companies failed to maintain their data integrity. The first one is the Ranbaxy case that unfolded in the early 2000s and came to a head in 2013 when Ranbaxy admitted to falsifying their BMRs in the US. Ranbaxy inaccurately attributed entries in their BMRs for drug stability data and omitted key details, which led to two warning letters from the FDA in September 16, 2008, and an impulse alert on their generic drugs produced by two of their manufacturing plants in India. These enforcement actions stemmed from the lack of accountability in Ranbaxy's manufacturing processes, ultimately resulting in a huge $500 million settlement and a product recall. The fallout obviously severely damaged the firm's market position and led to several bans on their products, highlighting the risk of non-compliance with regulatory standards. The undocumented modifications breached the triple principle in this case, as records were falsified and they compromised data authenticity. Another well-known case in 2013, Workhard Ltd. faced significant repercussions after an investigation revealed that their quality control employees altered chromatographic data without proper documentation of who made the changes, and this breach of data integrity compromised accountability, compromised traceability, leading to an FDA warning letter, multiple import alerts. The impact was so severe that a lot of product recalls were made, and it caused substantial market loss for Workhard, underscoring the crucial importance of adherence to the data integrity standards in the industry. The lack of documentation on data changes ignored the principle of attributable as well. It was unclear who made the alterations and it prevented accountability. In 2009, Apotex faced severe backlash when inspections revealed that data records were incomplete or difficult to interrupt due to deletions, to modifications made without proper documentation, and the incomplete and modified records without proper documentation violated the legible principle, as data integrity could not be assured. In 2013, Fresenius Kabi faced severe consequences after it was discovered that their quality control staff manipulated and backdated test results to appear compliant with testing timelines. This deliberate breach of data integrity led to an FDA warning letter, import bans of some of the products, and failures in these areas jeopardized both regulatory standing and market access. The backdated test results ignored the contemporaneous principle, as the data did not reflect the actual timeline of testing activities. In 2018, Zhujiang Huahei Pharmaceuticals faced severe consequences when it was revealed that original laboratory logs had been manipulated, preventing the detection of impurity, and the blood pressure medication was a trend. This breach in data integrity and accuracy led to a global recall, import bans from multiple regulatory bodies around the world. The manipulation exposed patients to potentially carcinogenic compounds, underscoring the grave risks that come with data integrity breaches in the pharmaceutical industry. The manipulated laboratory logs breach the original and the accurate principles, leading to undetected impurities and a huge risk on patients, which is supposed to be our top priority in the industry. In 2014, the GVK Biosciences in India faced serious repercussions when it was discovered that the good clinical practice lab data from a contract lab had been falsified. The ECG traces were duplicated, compromising the authenticity of clinical trial data. This violation of data integrity led to suspicions of marketing authorization for affected drugs by European regulatory bodies. It highlighted the crucial importance of maintaining accurate original records in clinical research. And the duplication of ECG traces violated the original and the accurate principles, as falsified data misrepresented the clinical findings. I would like to end with a final case of New England Compounding Center, where the firm faced a major crisis in 2012. Vials of methylprednisolone for injection were found contaminated with a fungi, leading to a widespread outbreak of infection. And during the investigation, the FDA discovered that the pharmacy technicians had been instructed by management to falsify cleaning logs to indicate that the rooms had been clean when they had been not. This deliberate breach of record of data integrity and manipulations of record resulted in severe legal consequences. The cleaning supervisor, the other personnel faced prosecution, and the incident underscored catastrophic risks that come with non-compliance with safety and cleanliness standards in the pharmaceutical compounding. Falsifying the cleaning logs breached the attributable, the accurate, and the complete principles, as record did not truthfully reflect the cleaning practices, undermining the top priority, as I said earlier, which is patient safety. So each of these cases led to warnings, led to bans, major hits for the companies and the firms, reputations and finances. And as we talked about in the beginning, I like to imagine it as building a house. And when it's missing crucial support beams, eventually it will collapse. That's the risk that we face when data integrity is ignored in the industry or any other industry, really. So these examples clearly show how the ALCOA principles make data attributable, make it legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate. These principles are not just regulatory requirements. They are essential for protecting patient safety, for maintaining public trust, and for safeguarding the company's reputation. And when these principles are ignored, it's not just about penalties or warning. It can mean actual harm to people and massive financial and operational impacts on companies. We also have the ALCOA Plus principles, which add complete, consistent, enduring, and available. I chose an example of non-compliance with the ALCOA Plus, where Volin Pharmaceuticals falsified their distribution records to inflate their sales figures. This led to severe financial, legal consequences, damaged the reputation of the company, and this breach compromised the consistent and available principles of the ALCOA Plus. So, as explained, DI or data integrity ensures that data collected during research, during clinical trials, manufacturing, distribution, etc., remains accurate, remains complete, and unchanged. It's like ensuring a letter maintains exactly as was originally written, without unauthorized changes, without missing information, without falsifications, until it reaches the person it's supposed to reach. To put it in the question form, we could say, did anything change in the letter? Could say, is it the same? We need to verify that data had not been altered or tampered with, and this is crucial to maintain trust in clinical and quality data. Data quality, on the other hand, is about the information or the data being fit for purpose, being accurate, being complete, being timely, being useful. And this assures that the letter, or in our case, data, is delivered in the right way, with the right information, to the right people, and at the right time. A high data quality ensures that the data is meaningful, complete, and actionable for decision-making. And together, the data integrity and the data quality ensure that pharmaceutical companies make safe, effective, and compliant products while protecting patient safety and maintaining the regulatory standards. So as we saw, data integrity impacts three main areas: patient safety, compliance with the regulations, and the overall quality of our products. To give you a better glimpse of how data integrity affects these areas, I'm going to talk about them one by one. So for patient safety, for example, achieving an effective communication between a healthcare specialist and a patient is impossible if the data a healthcare provider relies on can be misunderstood or can be misused. And high quality data equals, in this case, a better patient experience, patient safety, making the data integrity role even bigger in the pharmaceutical industry. The second area is compliance with regulations. Actually, the pharmaceutical industries work with data on a daily basis, and the best way to protect both the pharmaceutical industry workers and the patients is by achieving full compliance with data integrity requirements and regulatory regulations. This is why it's so important for companies to utilize proper software, for example, to store and retrieve data, even for simple processes like content creation. The third area is the proof of data quality. So when it comes to improving the overall quality of products and services, there is another reason why data integrity is so important. Many companies use the data insights to better understand their customers, to develop better engagement strategies for more customer-centric solutions. And with DI, with data integrity, companies can be sure that their data is 100% accurate, empowering the business to be more proactive with their decisions instead of taking too long to introduce any changes or improvements to their processes. Poor data, on the other hand, can mean legal problems, financial problems, delayed drug approvals, regulatory fines, or worse, harm to patients. And poor data can be created with too much reliance on legacy systems, for example, where some companies are still using old, outdated systems to store and manage their data. Most businesses realize that this might be a problem, but due to their inability to retain staff or their inability to invest in better software, no changes have been done. And actually, the use of the legacy systems is not necessarily the problem, but we need to keep in mind that each year, the use and the volume of data keeps increasing, and using outdated software is going to make it harder to properly store and manage data, which could potentially lead to leaks and breaches if not being taken care of. Frequent auditing allows for better control of this data and quick identification of inconsistencies, of anomalies and errors, and data integrity inspections are actually a normal procedure, and any business that desires to protect both their employees and patients should be ready to conduct regular audits to monitor and verify the entire data lifecycle. Also, manual processes can take a lot of time, prone to mistakes and errors, and this actually has nothing to do with the expertise or experience of the people who are dealing with data, but the human factor plays a significant role in gathering and managing data. And with large volumes of data nowadays, making manual processes error-free is more challenging than ever before. So minimizing the human intervention is the best way to achieve maximum data collection and analysis, maximum effectiveness, and fewer mistakes, fewer safety issues. Cyber attacks are probably the biggest enemy of data integrity. Hackers nowadays can get their hands on valuable data and do a lot of damage with it. To the data, to the company that owns the data, such as distributing it to third parties, tampering with it, deleting crucial information, etc. And this is why it's so important to implement access control so that it doesn't happen to small companies and to even large-scale companies. Another problem that can lead to poor data management is the lack of proper training. It's true that some, if not most, data-related activities can be automated, but it's not possible to eliminate human intervention completely. And this is why it's crucial to properly train everyone and anyone who might have to work with the company's data, mishandling data or neglecting safety management and measures, for example, when accessing the cooperative, this can do serious issues, including data integrity violations. All of these issues that we talked about lead to delayed data input, lead to use of old information, financial losses. So as discussed, failing to uphold good data management can lead to reputation damage, delayed protection, supply shortages, distribution issues, among a lot of other problems. Regulatory bodies may delay, may reject approvals if there is any doubt about the submitted data. Essentially, any breaches can erode their trust on the company's reputation and worse, harm the patient health, which is our top priority. It's like represented in this illustration where the data house is collapsing from everywhere. The employees trying to prevent it, but they can't manage it all. And this is the risk companies take when they don't implement good data management practices. A good question that you might ask here is how to maintain the good data management. Actually, firms started to rely on modern systems with audit trails to keep their data secure. They started to use modern technology to help automate data entry where possible, to reduce human error, as we discussed previously, to train staff on the ALCOA and the ALCOA Plus principles so they can ensure that everyone understands their role in maintaining the data quality. Also, consistently upgrading systems, upgrading processes helps to protect data integrity and helps ensure compliance with the regulatory standard. Also, modern technology, modern quality systems are being installed, such as AI and ML technologies and blockchain. To explain these technologies further, actually AI and ML can help detect abnormalities or inconsistencies in data that might signal potential data integrity issues. And with their advanced algorithms, they can analyze large data sets to quickly spot patterns or deviations. They flag any unusual activities or data points for further review. By always monitoring data in real time, these systems can proactively prevent and address data integrity breaches before they escalate. Blockchain, on the other hand, offers a decentralized ledger that records all transactions across a network so that life science companies can leverage to create a tamper-proof audit trail for data generation, modification, and access. And every transaction is being timestamped, cryptographically signed, and linked to previous entries. So any attempt to alter data would require a whole network consent, making it nearly impossible to manipulate data and detect it. However, we need to understand that data integrity is not a software, is not a service or a product. That's why I like to sum the whole concept in one sentence that says, in big letters, data integrity starts with your own. Actually, DI really starts with each one of us and the choices that we make every day. It's about staying true to the details and being careful even when things get busy or stressful. Each time we enter data, we review a document, we double check our work, we are reinforcing trust in the entire process. And in this field where people's health and safety is at stake, even the smallest error we make can make a huge difference. By choosing to do the right thing, we are setting a positive example for our colleagues to help create a workspace where accuracy and honesty come first. Protecting DI is something we all do together, but it begins with each one of us first, choosing to care about the quality of our own work. It all comes back to the word quality. Quality is the key concept that ensures our products constantly meet expectations, build trust, and maintain safety. The way that I see it is that each letter of quality corresponds to an action or to a behavior that builds towards trust and towards reliability in processes, communication, and standards. Q for question means we need to encourage questioning to promote understanding and to promote clarity, which helps in identifying potential issues or areas for improvement. U for understand, we need to strive to understand processes, to understand protocols and standards fully to ensure that our actions align with quality expectations. A for accept, we need to accept responsibility and feedback. L for liaise, we need to communicate effectively with stakeholders, be transparent with stakeholders. I for inform, we need to keep others informed. We need to ensure that all relevant information flows freely and to reduce the risk of miscommunication. T for trust, we need to build trust through consistent high-quality actions and communications. And finally, Y for you. This final word emphasizes that quality ultimately depends on individual commitment. Each person plays a role in upholding standards, so this quality ladder underscores our personal and collective responsibility in adhering to standards that protect patient safety. This was all. Thank you for joining me today and for dedicating your time to this essential topic. I encourage each one of you to carry what we've talked about into your daily work. Let's keep open communication with each other. Let's support the culture where doing things right is always prioritized. I hope you leave today with a renewed sense of purpose in maintaining the integrity of data. This was Ghada Amami speaking today. Thank you for listening and see you next time.